Hello, everyone. I've recently been seeing some posts on the SuccessFactors community site relating to item classifications and item types, and I just wanted to clear some things up to make sure everyone was 100% on the difference between the two, and make sure everyone knows that item type is not the same as item classification. So, just going over to learning items, which is the default, you can see we can search on item types here. And as you're probably familiar, item types are configurable in the SuccessFactors LMS environment. Typically, best practice would be to have an item type for, let's say, a web-based course, an instructor-led course, a virtual course, a virtual playback course, which is just a recording of a virtual course. Those are best practice item types, but I have seen in some instances where the implementation partner has only one item type, such as course, and it's a generic course, a generic item type that's used for all courses. However, you are still able to differentiate your courses based on the item classification. The item classification is based off of what's associated to the course. So if there's an item that has content, it's considered an online item. If it's an item that has segments, it's considered a scheduled classification. And if it has both, it's considered blending. If it has none of those, if it doesn't have content or segments, it's considered other. That would typically be used in SuccessFactors LMS with tasks because it doesn't have content and it does not have segments. In order to run a report for specific item types, the fastest way to do that would just be to filter on the search screen here using the blue filter. And then let's say I want to search for all of my web-based training courses, add to filter, submit filter. If I do a blank search here, I'm going to see all the courses that are tagged with web-based. However, just because it's tagged as WBT does not mean that there's actual online content. That just means when I built the course, I selected item type of WBT, but it does not mean it has content. We can do another filter here. Online settings has online content. We can do a search, and that could narrow options further. All of these courses do have online content. However, this would only really works for the web-based course with online content. If you actually want to search on the classification, which again is system driven, it's based off of what's actually on the course, I have a field here called item classification. If you do not have that field, you might have to go to add remove criteria and then find it in the list. It's on mine, it is right here, item classification. So I selected that. And once you select that, it'll show up. Again, if we hit the blue, I'm going to clear my filter for the item type and then hit the blue filter for the item classification. And then as you can see, you'll see all of the system set item classification. So just to give you an example, so continuous online access is the ID for this. This is just online. So if I select this, add to filter, submit filter, this is going to show me all the courses that are classified from a system perspective of online. I should see the same 5 courses as I saw before, or 6 courses I saw before. And as you can see, well, 5 courses because they're WBTs, but there is one course that's not tagged as WBT. It's tagged as an exam, but it is online from a system perspective because it has content. If I wanted to clear that filter and do the same thing for instructor-led courses, which would be the time-based instructor-led, add to filter, submit filter. I don't think this environment has any set up. There are no records found. However, if there was any courses set up in the LMS that had segments and no content, they would show in these results. Since there's nothing set up for the instructor-led course, I'm going to go back and do the online, add to filter, submit filter, search. Another question I saw in the community was, how do we export these results? So they were interested in reporting on, okay, what online courses do I have? What instructor-led courses do I have? Unless you are utilizing the item types and have that down to really very accurately, if you have a very accurate setup and all your courses with online content are tagged as WBT and all your instructor-led courses are tagged as ILT, you could technically report on that. Otherwise, the best way to do it is to use this filter here and then download the search results from this screen. Depending on how many you have, it might take a few minutes. And there's a limit set by default. I can't remember how many rows it is, but you can change the default search results, how many come out. But as you can see here, I now have a report of all the courses in my system that have online content.